Okay, hi everyone, and welcome to the Small Cap Discoveries conference call. Today on our call, we have Doug Vickerson, the CEO of Renoworks Software. For disclosure purposes, both Paul Andriola and myself are shareholders of the company. Before we get started, I want to remind all participants that your microphones have been muted, and at the bottom of your screen, there's a chat feature, and we encourage the audience to ask questions by using this feature. Renoworks trades on the TSX Venture under the symbol RW and in the US under ROWKF. The company has roughly 36.5 million shares outstanding and a 10 mil market cap. I'd now like to hand it over to Paul Andriola.
Thanks, Trevor. Yeah, we have Doug Vickerson, someone I've known for quite a while. Happy to have him on board. And I know a number of you guys know Renoworks quite well. But we thought we'd catch up with Doug and get an update and see how things are going. Anyway, so Doug, thanks for joining us. What I want to do, as we do with everybody else, is give you an opportunity to say hi to everybody, but more importantly, just give you a chance to quickly describe what Renoworks does, and then we'll ask you a bunch of questions.
Awesome. Thanks, Paul. Thanks, Trevor. It's great to be here. I'm looking at a Zoom screen and I'm not sure there's a Southern Alberta _Dom watching and they're watching from outside. And so I'm kind of, there's probably some people there from BC as well. So it's great to be watching this outside for all of you who are on the Zoom call. Thank you for supporting Renoworks. Those of you who are shareholders, we always appreciate it. And like Paul said, we kind of, I've known Paul for a long time, really appreciate how he's supported the company over the years, and know many of you, and you've all supported it. So I think Paul's question was, how are we doing? Renoworks is doing, I would say, pretty well right now. We were coming into 2020 very optimistic about what we were looking at for our year in 2020. We had spent 2019 as a big investment year onto our platform, and we're seeing some really good success in Q1. And then, I think that, as we all know, obviously everyone's world kind of changed. And at least initially we were, like everyone, we didn't really know what was going to be happening to our business, didn't know how it would kind of shake out. And, kind of fast forward to today, I think we're really well positioned. And in my 14 plus years that I've been at Renoworks, I've never been busier, quite frankly. It's literally almost, every day kind of back to back, talking with customers, potential customers, and I'll probably get into more of the detail of why we're busy. But things are, at least, what are we? May 15th, 2020, they are looking pretty positive right now for where we're at. So I think that's what you asked.
Well, we definitely were going to get there, but why don't we just give a brief description for those that don't know Renoworks, what you guys do and what problems you solve.
Perfect. So we're operating in this is kind of the technical description of where we're operating from a, technology industry wise. And they call it, the acronym is AEC, which is Architectural Engineering and Construction Software. That's the technical description of what we do. The layman's terms and kind of the story that I use all the time as well is, and I'll get a little bit more into it, is you can come to a Renoworks enabled software platform, and we work with many different enterprise clients, and type in the address of your home, and in a few hours later, you basically just type in your address, a few hours later get a link back where You can design the outside of your home looking at a photo of your home. So clicking on different aspects of your home and redesigning it. We can create a 3D model for you. We can create all the measurements of the exterior of your home. So I'm talking exterior right now, and I'll get into the interior as well. We can create a takeoff list or a material list for all your different potential remodel projects. We could put a bid package together where if you want to, from the comfort of your own home, have contractors bid on a new roof, you can do that. And then in theory, what you could do is sign up with a contractor, and whether you're signing the actual job from our platform or inviting the contractor and signing it when they come and actually meet you. So we're kind of taking the end to end process of doing a remodel project and really simplifying it. And we've been, as Paul knows, we've been kind of talking this story for a number of years. Putting all these parts and pieces together is not simple, and I think what we're trying to do is disrupt the industry. And I'll just say one more thing. So what we do with our software platform, we have a number of ways that we're getting it out into the market. We're not right now directly going to the homeowner as Renoworks, the company. We work with enterprise clients, so manufacturers of building products, distributors, big box retailers. We work with individual contractors. So we're indirectly coming to homeowners through our partners. Last year we we reached about 2.1 million homeowners. This year, with all-time record usage, and I can talk a little bit about that, we figure that we'll probably hit over 3 million homeowners this year. And so, hopefully that kind of describes what you're doing. So, I mean, really the layman is, if you want to paint the inside of your room and you have no idea what color to do, you would use us to determine the color of the paint. Or if you want to re-side the outside of your house and you don't know, the size of siding, the color of siding, maybe you want a stone accent, we would help you as a homeowner make all those decisions. We would help the contractor interact with the homeowner to make those decisions. We help a manufacturer generate leads off their website by offering this service. So we kind of look at the entire building products or remodel industry, and we're kind of playing in all those different areas.
So, I mean, really, you've got a software that allows customers and contractors to social distance even before social distancing was a thing, right?
Well, and I kind of,
you knew this was coming. You knew this.
I had exactly predicted this. So those of you have stuck it out.
Yeah.
I told you so. No, I'm kidding.
No, but you really do. So what you're able to do in a nutshell is you can have a customer either have a picture taken or take it off of Google Street View. You just need access to a picture of the home, and then that customer can see all the different products that can be used on his home without physically having anybody come there or
right.
physical product on there. And it really allows a customer to have the opportunity to sort of in advance see what his house is going to look like.
100%.
From a product manufacturer standpoint, what better way are you going to get in front of a customer and try to showcase your product? I think it's brilliant.
Well, and I think, I mean, and I'm happy you kind of mentioned it, because we're now going and showing the market, our homepage of some of our software, and it says, design and measure a home without the home visit. And they're kind of looking at us and, are you trying to be opportunistic? And we said, no, we haven't changed it for, over a year. That's what we've been telling people is that you can virtually sell a remodel project, and where we are today has just kind of made our offering catch fire. Like, I was very optimistic coming into 2020 with our offering, because it was, people knew that they had to change. And with the COVID pandemic that has come about, it's just exacerbated and kind of sped it up quite, exponentially.
Yeah. So your key product, if you want to call it that, is Fast Track. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Maybe give us an update as to where you are with that, and where you see the product going as far as maybe new versions or market opportunities for the product.
So Fast Track is the solution that kind of describes our kind of our strategy. And we used Fast Track, we thought it was a catchy name. It's helping users, whether you're a contractor or a homeowner, speed up the process of doing a remodel project. So fast tracking it. And we've been working on that for over 2 years. Hit a little blip the end of 2019, where one of our partners didn't do well in a court case, and then we quickly partnered with the company that won that court case, which was Eagle View. And it took us about 1.5 years to develop with our old partner. It only took us about 2 months to basically take out our old partner and put in Eagle View. And so we've been deploying Eagle View in our Fast Track platform, which is the measurement piece of our business, to great fanfare. And so I think you're going to start, we're realizing revenue from that solution, which is the measurement solution as part of our platform. And we're gaining new steam by deploying that new platform to our existing clients who might have only had our visualization feature. We're doing it with new clients. And by the end of Q2, we'll be on a large, probably 20 plus clients all selling this new software. And so I think it's an important thing to note. If you look at I call it the value chain, or, so there's different parts of the value chain that we're playing in, and we're trying to make money, and we are, at every different kind of intersection of what is needed to do a remodel project. So we're making money at the design phase, different ways. We're making, we're even making money at the lead generation phase, making money at the measurement phase by selling measurement reports. The next phase will be generating a material list, generating a quote, putting out a bid package. So we're slowly but surely creating this whole value chain of a platform. And so the Fast Track, I keep on bringing this point up, that coming into 2020, I was very excited about it. And I'm even more excited, and we're way busier, quite frankly, with that platform right now. And I'll say one final thing. I don't want to be, one of the things that we're seeing in the industry right now as part of the COVID reality that we're living in right now is there are manufacturers who are pulling back, who are saying, we don't know what's going to happen. We know we need to change the way we're doing things, but we can't, Renoworks, we can't expend, $40,000-$50,000 for you to build this Fast Track platform for us. And that's, that's part of our implementation business. But this is specifically to your question, Paul, how is Fast Track? We've built it in such a way we can say to that manufacturer, no worries. We can build it for you in 1.5 weeks, customize it for your company, design it. We did it for just a partner last week. And the only ask that we have is that you introduce us to your 4,000 contractors that you work with every day, where they can start ordering design reports and measurement reports. And so that's actually really helping us because we've built the platform that we can replicate it quick enough, and where we make money is on the transactions.
Right. And who typically are your clients? You did mention you're dealing with manufacturers. Maybe tell us who broadly your customers are, and maybe even name a few to give everybody a good example.
Absolutely. So, very well-known manufacturers in the building products industry. Lots of these companies are multi-billion-dollar companies, maybe not household names, but James Hardie would be they're the leading fiber cement software, manufacturer in the world. They're very strong, all over the world, but very strong in the Vancouver, Seattle, Pacific Northwest area. The type of siding that they make is very good for that climate. And just last week, we launched with them what is called James Hardie Pros.Renoworks.com. That was one of the companies who had said, hey, we're looking to spend our money very wisely, but we'll absolutely introduce your product to our network base, which is, that they spend a lot of money on taking care of their contractor network, and so we're continuing to tell them about our service. So James Hardie would be a contractor. Certainteed Roofing, they're actually a French conglomerate, over $40 billion conglomerate. They own Certainteed, who plays in North America. And so again, they manufacture vinyl siding and asphalt roofing. And so we're working with them on lead generation on their website. So they have a visualizer on their website where they can, a homeowner can have their house designed, and they can use the technology that we provide, Certainteed, to do that. And so they're a very large company. Another large company, Royal Building Products, another vinyl siding and vinyl trim company, multi-billion. I know that they're owned by a multi-billion-dollar conglomerate. They have a very unique feature on their website where they're paying Renoworks to do designs on thousands of homes a year. That's part of our design service, kind of revenue line that we report. Sherwin-Williams, I think everyone probably knows Sherwin-Williams, a paint company. We work with multiple divisions. We're not working with Sherwin-Williams proper, but many of their coatings divisions, some of their lesser known name brands. On the, I could keep on naming. We've probably got about 175 different enterprise clients. And, so window and door clients. If you look at the exterior visual pieces that you can see on the outside of a home, we work with every single manufacturer that you can visually see. We don't work with, HVAC or, any of the underlayment things, even though we're going to start playing in maybe some of the underlayment, but we work with that whole exterior. On the interior, we have a particular niche, flooring, kitchens, working with some, Pulte is a big builder that in the United States, top 5, I think, builder in the United States, that, the interest in what we can do for builders now has increased because no longer can someone, a potential home buyer or a buyer go into a showroom and they need to see these things virtually. So I think, I could keep on going and talking about our customers.
Yeah, no, I think that sort of gives everybody a good sense of who the customers are. And predominantly, you're getting most of your revenue from these big manufacturer companies, but you also get revenue from their contractors. I mean, it does sort of filter down into the small contractor that it deals with clients. So you really capture a fair bit of the different sort of contractor chain, if you want to call it that. And it's mostly, you're mostly operating in the US. You've got some business in Canada for sure, but predominantly the US is your market, right?
90%
Yeah.
or so in the US.
Okay, good. Cool. Okay, well, listen, I mean, a question on everybody's mind is twofold as far as what we're going through right now in COVID. Operationally, how's the sort of the COVID stay-at-home issue how are you dealing with it? And then ultimately, do you see an opportunity or issues with the market you're in because of COVID?
Well, and it's okay. So, you know, how Renoworks is doing as a company operating in this new environment, working from home. I think, you know, it's going on 50 plus days that we've been working from home. Thankfully, fortunately, we didn't really miss a beat when, you know, I kind of made a call literally on a weekend to say, okay, you know, it was on a Sunday night. I said, we're all working from home starting Monday. We had, you know, the Alberta government had been making some announcements and didn't really miss a beat. We actually, we threw in there a change of all of our underlying software in that same first week it was planned, and that actually didn't, you know, really harm us. So we haven't laid off anyone. We haven't reduced salaries. We're actually starting to slowly but surely hire a couple of people just based on organic growth that we're seeing right now. And we're being cautious, like I think everyone needs to be as a company where we invest our money. But we, you know, in a couple of places because we're so busy, we're having to, you know, kind of hire some people. So that's kind of the organization. And personally, and I'm here, I love working from home. I haven't really worked from home. So I think I've got, you know, as I look at my office space and my lease is coming up in a year and a half, I think we're going to look at how we do business differently, where we don't need all this office space. And I certainly don't need a big office anymore because it's quite frankly inefficient. So that's just an interesting aside that probably everyone is talking about. How Renoworks is operating specifically with regard to COVID. I'll give you some stats. So our usage is at an all-time high. So we kind of map daily the people that are using all our apps on those 175 clients that we have. And we're doing over 100,000 product renderings every single day. And that's extremely high usage. You know, I mean, maybe a year ago we were half that. And we've definitely seen a blip where, you know, obviously more people are at home looking to do things, and so we're seeing our usage spike, which is obviously you know, a good sign. The other piece of it is our design service revenue, where people are sending us, you know, their photos, their exterior photos for us to design for them. Mm-hmm. We've hit some all-time records, you know, each month, where I kind of think, you know, are people going to still spend money, or are the manufacturer customers that are doing it for free, who, you know, they still continue to see, you know, very much increased usage. So that's a positive factor. And then I think if, you know, this is me, one more thing on Renoworks is that I think I've mentioned we're very strong on the exterior side of remodeling. We dabble in interior remodeling, but we see low-hanging fruit for us, an opportunity for us to revolutionize the exterior remodeling market. And that kind of fits well with COVID, because I think, you know, if you're looking to remodel someone's kitchen and needing to bring 2 or 3 people into your kitchen and kind of live inside your house every day for multiple days in a row, that people are apprehensive about that. But if someone just needs to kind of, you know, say, hello, we're here for the morning, we're going to go up on top of your roof and you won't even know that we're here other than hearing us pound nails, people are doing that. And so we feel, again, fortunate that we've really concentrated on the exterior market. That's been our sweet spot. And this is and I don't really know whether this is true or not. This is my theory, is that if you look at the people in the market who have lost their job, it's a lot of the people who are potentially, you know, hourly workers in the, you know, in the retail, in the restaurant, you know, hospitality, hotel business, you know, obviously airlines and you know, flight crew and things like that. And are those people homeowners? I don't mean to, you know, I'm not trying to make any comment on, you know, whether they're homeowners or not. So will the people who have jobs and own homes, and are they still spending money? And we're starting to kind of see some positive signs that there are, you know, we've talked to a lot of our manufacturer clients, and some clients there's one company that sells trim, and they said that their orders from big box retailers, home, Lowe's, Depot, Menards, are, you know, triple, you know, what they've seen in the past. So we're kind of, so again, I think that we're always cognizant and not trying to get ahead of ourselves. But again, I kind of say on May 15th, I'm pretty, you know, it's looking pretty positive.
Yeah, I mean, it's always been the case historically that when there's an economic slowdown, there's more spending on renovations as opposed to new build. I think that's
Correct.
typically what happens,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
That's unlikely to be different this time around. Why don't we touch a little bit on where you stand in the competitive landscape? Who are your competitors? What do they look like? And what are you doing to crush them into the ground?
Perfect. I love it. So, and Paul, just your advice, should I actually, you know, talk about them generally or specifically? Because
Well,
I can
let's do a little bit of both.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
So it's interesting, and if you know the story a little bit, you know, again, our strategy has been to look at that value chain and put the pieces together in the workflow, is another way to, you know, look at it, and put those pieces together where you know, all paths lead to Renoworks. And I think we've done a really good job. Fast Track as a solution is extremely unique, you know, partnering photo visualization with, you know, measurements. And so, you know, a year ago, EagleView would have been our competitor because they were out there offering measurements. They weren't doing the design. Obviously, after, you know, what happened with Geomni, we've, you know, fortunately we've partnered with EagleView, so they're a partner right now. They're only looking at, you know, kind of a specific piece of the value chain. So I think they see Renoworks as definitely complementary to them. Some might say EagleView's still you know, a competitor of ours, but I won't get into that nuance of it. You know, some of the things that they're doing a little bit further down the value chain, they still could be, you know, perceived as a competitor. One of our competitors for sure would be Hover, which is a company that we had at one time partnered with. They see, this is actually an important point. You talk about how potentially we're going to crush everyone. is everyone sees our relationships with enterprise. So some of the chats are, I say we have 175 clients. That's enterprise clients. So that would be all, clients that are doing revenue 100 million plus, sometimes multi-billion. And we've developed those relationships with those clients over 20 years. And we've also, which is really important, is that we've digitized their product, and we've come up with processes to digitize their product. Everyone, competitors who look at us go, wow, it's going to take us years and years and years to develop the relationship, to develop the libraries that we have, the data. And us putting that all together, it's taken us a very long time to do it, but now we're starting to put those pieces together where people go, wow, that's extremely, interesting. So some of the people who are coming to us now are we got potential opportunities coming out of the woodwork where, real estate, property management companies, who want to do things. So as we start to develop this platform, we are seeing many more opportunities. Almost where we are right now is to focus on the lowest hanging fruit, keep these other ones definitely talking to them, but really focusing on the lowest hanging fruit. So I said Hover is a competitor. Chameleon Power has typically, they're out of Novi, Michigan. They have typically been a competitor of ours on, kind of the visualization piece. They are offering some form of measurement. They're kind of doing it on their own. It's not, again, not near as expanded and as well thought out. Obviously I'm biased as what we do. We're partnering with the experts to provide measurement, Eagle View, and they're kind of doing it on their own. So I would say Chameleon Power is potentially a competitor, but they're not doing kind of the value chain strategy. And then on the interior side, there's a company called Roomvo, and they are doing some interesting things on the interior side and gaining, a number of clients on the interior side. And they are a competitor. Because of our focus on the exterior and having to, I think that there's immense opportunity on the exterior. We've kind of let them play in the interior a little bit and aren't really playing in the interior space. But it's not to say we won't ever go back to the interior space, and we're dabbling in it. So though that would be kind of the competition. And again, how we're, I would say the phase of our company right now is still, continued development of that platform. I could probably, we've got a really interesting roadmap, but right now it's market grab. It's going with this fast track solution as it stands right now and going out and grabbing market. And so that's that, I'm in a very interesting stage in the Renoworks life cycle, is that I've got a hot product and I'm going out and deploying it to my existing clients and to new clients. So that's kind of the stage we're at. And so that's part of our competitive advantages. I can say to James Hardy, I'll build it for you in a week and a half. Just start using it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think important to note and sort of repeat what you said, but you're one of your strong moats around your business is that library, that product library that you've built over years. And even if somebody has a sort of a competitive software that does similar to what you guys do, it's hard to displace the tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of sort of catalog inventory
millions
that manufacturers have paid for. You're just now, leveraging off of that and going after, their or increasing their customer attraction because you guys got that. I think, I think you guys are extremely well positioned because of that. Maybe touch on a little bit just how you go and get customers now. How do you sell to these manufacturers? What now that we're not physically as able to go and get these guys, what are you doing to attract the customer? And and how long is the sales cycle?
Oh, okay. Really interesting. Paul knows that I'm a 150,000 mile a year airplane guy, and so I'm a little bit shaky that I can't be on a plane. Some of you probably heard Paul and I talking about that. And traditionally what we've done is gone to trade shows. We've actually never had a booth at a trade show because the trade shows that we typically go to, our customers are actually displaying at the trade show. That's been a big one. We're still getting on the phone to attract new clients. And I think that because we've been around so long, we can literally call any one of the manufacturers and say who we are. We're Renoworks, and we can have a conversation. And so part of our, part of where we're at right now, I said market capture. It's getting more people in the sales seats just making these phone calls because, still to this day is, our number one advertiser is a little powered by Renoworks at the bottom of one of the software applications that's on a manufacturer website. We get, quite often, multiple times a week, we get a manufacturer who says, I saw your application on such and such a manufacturer website. I want exactly that. And it was powered by Renoworks. So, we're benefiting from that. The sales cycle is, it's actually decreased a lot. And I think that's obviously partially due because some of these, not all the opportunities, some of these opportunities where we can efficiently deploy a solution in a week and a half, when we say to them, it's free and it allows you to sell virtually, and you need that, the sales cycle, used to be 3 to 6 months. It's now, in that same phone call. That's a big benefit. Saying, okay, we're good. Obviously we need to work on different things, but we're getting the verbal yes, and then we work through the details of kind of putting that together.
Mm-hmm. So you've recently announced a deal. So your first significant fast track deal. Can you give us a sense of maybe what the pipeline looks like, and how optimistic are you that we'll see more such deals in the near future?
So, we're actually not. I think we're maybe on a half a dozen enterprise applications with the fast track solution. And just again to reiterate, the fast track solution is the kind of the full value chain. The design and measurements together. We're still doing just design as well, but for the most part, we're only deploying fast track, and we're actually kind of combining it. I'm going to get a little bit nuanced now, where we're talking to a manufacturer in Ohio, and they manufacture entry doors, windows, vinyl siding, stone, and roofing. So the entire exterior envelope. And they're one of the, like in in a span of 30 days, I think they had probably 70,000 people visit our our visualizer. They got 5,000 leads in that time, so that's an amazing click-through rate. And so they're going to keep that homeowner facing tool on their website. What we're building them is a contractor fast track solution, because sometimes homeowners may not want the measurements. It's mainly for the contractor side. And so we're then feeding those leads into the contractor solution. So the industry for measurements in North America, and this would also include insurance, not just construction. So just ordering digital measurement reports is 400 million in North America. So we're right now concentrating on the construction side of that to start gaining a piece of that 400 million dollar market. And so we're doing by the end of the year we'll be we'll be doing in the thousands of reports that of measurement reports. I'm really bullish about if we're on 6 enterprise apps right now, and by the end of the quarter we're on 20 plus, and then you add another quarter, we start training the contractors how to use our system. And there's a contractor here in Calgary who last year, one contractor here in Calgary, Alberta, construction, a roofer, ordered $50,000 worth of Eagle View reports last year.
One contractor. Wow.
A sizable one in Calgary, but $50,000.
Yeah.
And so, an Eagle View, they see our solution as, if that contractor starts buying it from us, they're kind of going, we might lose a little bit of margin, but the solution that Renoworks is providing is a really attractive solution. So maybe we'll get more volume.
Right. Yeah.
And so we're really bullish on, and that, bullish on the measurement piece, but that's just one piece of the whole value chain. I want to generate a takeoff report now from that measurement, because the measurement, if I feed in the digital measurement of the outside of that home, I can generate all the nails I need, all the underlayment I need, the labor.
So maybe how much of a project do you think ultimately you can capture in terms of dollar revenue?
Ooh, okay. So, in some instances right now, we're making, as in some of our design services, 75 US.
Okay.
And we're doing that with, well, it's probably more like 80 Canadian when you do all the conversion and stuff like that. But we're doing that 20,000 times last year. So for 20,000 exterior projects, we made $80 a project. And so I think that I can make a little bit, now I'm adding measurements, and, I'm basically reselling. So my margin isn't as much as with what I'm doing on design, but it's, I'm still making margin, and I have no cost of goods sold. It's 100% automatic. When I get a measurement report, I have no, I don't have a human touching it. It's all, so I make a little bit of margin there. I think where the real win in this is, and we're working towards this, if I can get a cut of the actual, 25,000 that someone is spending on the roof report. And then, okay, so that's the value chain. And then underpinning this is all the data that we're capturing. We could be a big data play. where, and I kind of use this analogy, if Paul is a homeowner coming to James Hardy and Doug is a homeowner coming to James Hardy, I'm measuring the data. Well, Paul's house is worth $1 million and Doug's house is worth 600K. No, let's call my house 390 when it comes to James Hardy. So my house is worth 390. Paul has come back to his design 4 times. He spent 42 minutes designing. A contractor has ordered a measurement report as a result of that. Well, Doug hasn't done that much. That data that I only have, I can sell that back to the manufacturer and say, you should go after Paul before you go after Doug. Still go after Doug, but Paul is a higher potential to land, a $40,000 job.
They've obviously know my wife. My wife loves to spend. So I think
exactly.
That's yeah.
I live in Calgary. We're oil and gas, and it's like, oh my God.
Good point. In a couple minutes, we're going to open it up for the questions from our listeners. But Doug, give a ballpark sense of what the addressable market specifically to your sort of current core products is. How much could you sell how much is the market and how much do you think you can capture that market?
So the broad, exterior remodel market, and this incorporates both interior and exterior, is about $350 billion. Doesn't include new home construction. We dabble in new home construction. You start adding the insurance industry in there, that's a whole other big play. So again, the exterior insurance industry, we've been talking to real estate and property management companies. So again, you start adding this big potential market. So where does Renoworks play in this? Paul, you know me well enough that, I'm not satisfied with building a small little company that sells for, someone offers us $100 million. And don't get me wrong, that would be very nice. But I think that our potential for the disruption that we can do in this market, for how our technology is getting, go look at fairmarkethome.com. We haven't even, it's a small little technology player in Dallas who is incorporating our technology. And so I think the sky's the limit as to what we can do in this market. And I think that if you want to look at why I think that, to really, encapsulate it, our relationships and our partnerships with, manufacturer clients, that's a core competency that took, 20 years to develop. Our ability to disrupt the way, disrupt this market. So to change the way buying habits in a market that has been slow to adopt technology. They're way behind all other industries. And then opportunistically, where we are with COVID, where I think it's going to fundamentally change everything, including our industry. So to me, the sky's the limit. I want to be that, that technology company that, our big, hairy, audacious goal is that we will be like the Intel Inside in every single remodel project in North America. Meaning, if you're doing a remodel project in North America, there is some form of Renoworks software in there, whether you're partnering with us or our partners or our technology partners. And then our other big, hairy, audacious goal is to get a piece of that $350 billion industry. So if I facilitate saying to James Hardy that Paul is interested in spending $50,000 with you, with a new siding job on the outside of his home, that's not worth $100 to James Hardy. That's probably worth $1,000 or $500 or something like that to James Hardy.
Just
So
the lead, just the leads.
just the lead,
Yeah.
just the lead.
Yeah.
And then the data under it.
Yeah, no, fantastic. One question before we jump into there's 35 million shares outstanding roughly. What percentage is owned by management?
So for directors, roughly 45%, the directors, of which I'm one of them. And then, you add some of the staff, all the staff are owners for the most part, you probably add another 5% there. So
45, 50% owned technically by insiders. Okay. And I note for everyone that Robert Schultz has been a significant buyer in the last few weeks. So
he's challenging Nairn to be the largest shareholder. Yeah.
I mentioned to a few in the past that when I first found out about Renoworks, I started buying the stock. I think it was around 5 cents, and I actually figured out that Robert was. I was leapfrogging Robert. I could see he was buying some stock, and I'd always go a half a penny above him. And within a year, the stock was at 30 cents. So I'm hoping we see the same sort of now that he's buying again.
Yeah.
Why don't we start with some questions? I know we've got a few here. Let's see. Okay. So customers go to manufacturer's site, design their home, and then click buy and get forward to contractors a lead. Is there a difference in the lead rate with and without Renoworks? Do you know?
Yes, there absolutely is, and that's all kind of the data analytics that we're providing our contractors right now. So as an example, I won't mention names because this is proprietary information, and I have no idea, who's going to see this, but we do have manufacturers who say to us that they might, and I'm just using round numbers. I'm not actually using, actual numbers, is that their click-through rate of someone coming to the website and just landing on the website and clicking on request a quote or find a contractor might be 1-2%. Whereas we're showing that some of the click-through rate on where to buy or find a contractor is with our software 14-15%. And I'm kind of looking, this is, we've recently enhanced our view into some of these analytics, and I got to take my glasses off sometimes going, we're not charging these clients enough, and kind of going, you need to spend more money to get more people onto our funnel, because we're showing that, you're getting a better click-through rate on where to buy or get a quote than you are with just your typical way of someone coming to the website, because they're seeing their home with your product on it. Mm-hmm. And so it's a great question, and it's something where if you look at, we've got one data scientist on our team right now, and that's not enough at all. Where, and I think if I were, what excites me, one of the biggest things that excites me about our business is that data scientist piece, because that's that data. Yes, we're getting data from our partners, but analyzing that data, putting the pieces together is 100% proprietary. And so new hires will be data scientists.
And so this sort of blends into the next question a little bit, but what do you see that Renoworks could do differently right now to sort of ramp up the growth of the business? Like what do you still need? Is it, do you need more salespeople? Do you need more time just to let some of these things that are working out now sort of play themselves through? What could you do you think, to really ramp up the business from here?
So I do think I need a tiny bit more time, but not much. I'll answer that. I'll come back to that. So I think it's mainly, call it feet on the street, call it, a customer success organization, to go out there and tell the world, talk to contractors, and tell them about our service. If you look at Hover, who is our competitor now, way back when, X number of years ago, they were a new startup, and I think they've had $80+ million invested in them, and they basically, littered the street with people to go out and tell the story of Hover, and it's good and bad for us, because they definitely have some market share out there, but they've also made contractors, as an example, really want the service of measurement. But James Hardy, as an example, they're big partner of Hover, but they brought us in because they see our fast track solution as, kind of dynamite. So I need to go out and tell the story of fast track, and just, if James Hardy is introducing me to 5,000 contractors or 4,000 contractors, they'll introduce me, and they'll, do some part to keep on telling, but I got to go out and kind of beat the bush there to make sure that it really resonates with them. So that's probably the biggest thing that I would do. But back to a little bit of time, we did kind of a mini pivot after COVID, where we were developing a contractor specific solution. So we're very much focused on developing an enterprise solution where our software goes on the enterprise. It filters into contractors, but now we're developing a contractor specific solution. We kind of launched it 9 months before we probably would have, which is actually, shame on me for not necessarily introducing it sooner, but I think it was being opportunistic that, selling a virtual way to sell, it's very opportunistic. So I think that some of the product roadmap for that solution, I'm really excited about. And, as we keep on adding new features, it's going to become very attractive to that contractor market. So again, number one, more feet on the street to tell the story. To some of the other levels, I could probably have a few more feet on the street to, work out the enterprise side as well. So I'd say sales and marketing, a little bit of product, and then, a little bit, maybe, quite a bit of data science.
Gotcha. Okay, here's a question. Are you currently working with any insurance companies? Are you doing any deals in the insurance space?
Very, very early stages.
Okay.
Okay. And maybe more through a partner, or with a partner.
Yeah. I mean, predominantly, isn't that the bulk of EagleView businesses with insurance companies, is it not?
It is.
Yeah, so there's an opportunity to sort of angle yourself in there through EagleView.
And the interesting thing about EagleView is, in the construction space, they've got, we haven't done any of these deals or anything like that, but here's another use of they've got a single manufacturer who's buying 20,000 roof reports from them. And that manufacturer has looked at Fast Track and said, well, we still want to buy EagleView reports the way we have been doing, but we love the 3D model that you can create from an EagleView report. And EagleView is kind of doing 3D models as well, but they see what we're doing, and they kind of want to go, let's funnel those 20,000 reports in through Fast Track and pay you $8. a report. And what does that cost us? You know, nothing really, because it just happens automatically. And Eagle View is supportive of that. So there's, you know, again, I think that there's so many different opportunities now for us to monetize this platform and you know, build out parts of it.
Gotcha. Okay, let's see what we got here. Just for the sake of ease for me, guys, easier next time you just literally pointed questions. Okay, hard to read these. I'll go. Why don't we do this? Doug, give everybody sort of what they can expect over the next sort of 3 to 6 months. What should investors be looking out for over that time frame?
Okay, so you know, awesome. So we released our year-end financials not too long ago. It was an investment year. So one of the things that we did, you know, way back after we signed the deal with Geomni, is that we all of a sudden said, we're onto something here. We increased our you know, our development team to build out Fast Track. We had a little bit of an investment in summer of 2019. Thank you. Any of you who participated in that, that really helped us, where we took that investment and, quite frankly, invested it all in development of the product for the most part. And so now coming into 2020, I said that I was looking really positive at 2020. So if you should be looking for, you know, Renoworks working towards profitability now, where we are, you know, starting to put our money where our mouth is, starting to deploy this solution, and starting to see some of the fruit of that labor, where we're, you know, we're starting, you know, not only are we selling visualization, we're now starting to sell measurements. And another thing that's happening is that sometimes now that we have measurements, we're actually selling more design, you know, designs as well. So it kind of goes hand in hand. And so I'm definitely seeing, and I've said this here, so we're adding more companies and upgrading more of our companies to our platform, and seeing more transactional business come through that. And so, yeah, I would be looking for, you know, a growth year in 2020. So growing top line revenue and bottom line EBITDA profit.
Do you guys think you'll be profitable this year?
May 15th. Yeah, I think that we will have, you know, quarters that could be profitable for sure.
Sort of one last question before we sort of sum it all up. If there's one thing that Renoworks does as a company better than anybody else in your space, what is it?
If there's one, innovate. I'm going to say we are the company that is probably innovating more than any other company. And, you know, I don't know where I heard this from, but businesses that innovate and continue to innovate, you know, you can disrupt. And I do know that it's a balance of innovation and then actually execution on that. So that's when you ask me that question, what do you do you wish you had? I wish I had more salespeople on the street now to sell that innovation. But I think as we continue to innovate, it will get us closer to actually disrupting this market, actually achieving some of our, you know, what we've wanted to do. And I've been a sales guy. I've told you this, Paul. I've been a sales guy for, you know, 30 odd years, maybe even longer. And I've never sold anything better than Fast Track. you know, you literally go into a boardroom and they go, wow, that is, you know, I wish it were a little bit more developed, because then it would just, you know, really solidify where we're at. But I think it's also time now to put our money where our mouth is. Because I go, you know, our shareholder price will not rise until we start showing some of that financial proof. And I think, you know, 2020 is going to start doing that.
Perfect. Okay, so great, Doug. I want to sum it up a little bit by saying Renoworks, 35.5 million shares roughly outstanding, $10 million market cap. You're trading at about 2.5 times trailing 12 months revenue. You're not quite profitable yet, but it looks like we're within a 9 iron of hitting profitability. You guys really have a product that I think could disrupt the sort of the old and stale construction industry. You know, we're seeing you know, the sort of stay-at-home opportunity really fast track, so to speak, your opportunity to get in front of your customers. I think, you know, I think you guys are positioned quite nicely for the market. I'll give you 60 seconds to say whatever else you want to say to the audience, and then we'll wrap it up and let you get on with your weekend.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Paul. And again, I've said we couldn't do it without the shareholders, and the shareholders, you know, Paul, Harold, Brent, who are kind of the, you know, I know there's a lot of shareholders out there, but really appreciate the support and the patience that our investors have had with us. Paul knows that I've burnt my boat, meaning I've got, someone asked me where are my investments now? Well, my house and Renoworks, that's it. And I've taken a lot of what, you know, equity in the house and put it into Renoworks. So really appreciate the, you know, the patience and the support and the, you know, the input that we get from our shareholder base. And so, you know, I think I'll just end it that way, saying thank you. And I look forward to delivering results to our shareholders.
Perfect, Doug. Thank you so much. Everyone, again, Renoworks, symbols RW on the Venture Exchange. It's actually ROWKF in the US. I want to thank Doug one more time, and Trev, I'll hand it over to you. For everyone, just keep in mind that we're going to let Doug go, and then we'll spend 5 minutes just chatting. So, Trev, over to you.
Yeah. Again, Doug, thanks again for taking the time here, and we're going to continue to, you know, support the company as shareholders and follow along with your, you know, the financials coming out. And appreciate your time.
Perfect. I have an all-staff meeting now, so it's good timing. We'll talk soon. Okay. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Doug.
Bye.